So in Special Forces, I had 3 team sergeants. One of them, his call sign was Homer. And maybe he won't get too pissed at me if I tell you that he had that because he actually looked like Homer Simpson. I mean, he really did. Probably still does. He was 50 years old at the time. So he was, he was pretty senior guy. And he was a great team sergeant. And whenever we would prepare to do missions, Homer would always conduct pre-combat inspections. He was very adamant about that, like any good sergeant should be. He would have us all line up. He would walk down the line. He would look at each person's gear the same way. He would have them jump up and down to see if they rattled or would make noise when we were on the mission. He would make sure that everything was taped down and not shiny. He would ask you questions about your mission to make sure you knew your job. He would ask you questions about your buddy's mission, about the overall higher intent to make sure you knew that in case other people were hit and you had to lead. He would ask you to hold up gear. He would ask you to open it up and show batteries. It was maddening. This dude, I mean, he was so detailed. But guess what? Every time we ran a mission, I mean, I'm not going to say it went smooth every time, but stupid stuff didn't take our knees out. Like, we always accomplished our missions. We always got stuff done at a very high level, and it was because we did the little things right. And that's the theme for this Rooftop Rally Point. PCI's, the science of getting ready. PCI stands for pre-combat inspections, right? Now, how does that fit into the civilian world? Well, let's take one of my sons. I have 3. I'm not going to dog one of them out right now, right? Because they've all been guilty of it, and I'll be getting the silent treatment if I call one out. But just recently, one of them had an event, right? It was a really important event, and when it was time to show up at that event, they didn't have what they needed to perform that event. Any parents with me right now? Anybody with me right now on that one? Happens all the time, right? And it's maddening. And we all want our kids to learn personal responsibility, so we yell at them in the moment. But the reality is that's a learned behavior, right? Showing up with what you need to do your job and do your work in a high-stakes situation is learned behavior. And we can help leaders do that, and we can get better at it as leaders to do that, right? Now, what my son should have done was have a list of everything that he needs, lay that list out, and then go through that list and hold those items, put them in the bag as they prepare for the event 24 hours prior to the event. That is exactly what Homer would do with us before a mission, right? It's the same thing. And I'm telling you, it works. I don't care if you're having a big conference and you want to go through all the logistics, if you're going to give a presentation to your boss on resourcing, if you're going to help your kid prepare for summer camp, right? PCIs. We want to get in the habit of doing our PCIs, our pre-combat inspections, because that is the science of getting ready. And if we're ready, then the odds are we're going to perform at a much higher level than if we just show up and wing it. Because most likely what's going to happen is something's going to take us out that could have been prevented. And what a tragedy that is. In today's high-stakes environment where everyone is running so fast and the zero defect mentality is so pervasive, where one mistake can not only cost you an account or a sales presentation, it can cost you your spot on the team, right? It can cost you your job, right? So we can't afford those kinds of failures in this high-stakes, high-stress world where we get one run at it. And so having the mindset of PCIs, pre-combat inspections, whatever you want to call them, is a really, really useful transference of a battlefield skill set, right? It's a place for us to rally on the rooftop and take this and move it into your world. And again, notice I don't call it the art of getting ready. This isn't art, right? Leadership is both art and science, okay? So in one of my previous vlogs, I said that we did an eyes-on leaders recon of the objective. I looked at it. That's the science of it. There's a certain way you do that every time, and I didn't budge on that. But then as I saw the objective, I saw that I needed to make modifications and changes in the moment. That's the art of leadership, right? So what we want to do in high stakes moments is we want to apply the science of leadership with rigor so that we can take out all of the mitigating factors and leave room for ourselves to be artistic where it needs to happen, right? You don't want to be creative because you forgot the projector for the presentation. That's not the proper application of creativity, right? So you want to have a pre-combat inspection science that has a list of everything you need, a system in which that list is called out, you hold it up, you check batteries, whatever that is, everyone's involved in it, and then you move on. Wes, am I being clear enough about this? I'm telling you, I see more high-performing teams tripped up because they do not do their pre-combat inspections. And I know all my team sergeants and senior non-commissioned officers are throwing hallelujahs my way digitally all over the United States and the world right now. This is a shout out to you. This is a shout out to every non-commissioned officer who kicked my ass for not doing my PCIs. And look, it finally stuck. I'm actually doing a video on it. And I'm in all seriousness, I don't care what your discipline is. If you're a CEO of a commercial bank or if you're a nonprofit leader, there's a place in your life for pre-combat inspections and making them part and parcel of who you are, what you do, and teach it to your kids. Rather than just jump in your kid's chest cavity when they forget something, try this, right? It really does work. Write it down. We're getting ready to load out for the play right now, last out. We're going to Albuquerque next as I film this. And Lenny Bruce, who's in the cast with me, former Green Beret team sergeant, guess what he's doing right now? He's out in the garage inventorying all of our stage gear. He's holding it up. We're going to go out there and help him shortly. Then he's going to load it up, ship it out. He'll do the same thing on the other side. It works, right? So apply the science of getting ready. Apply the pre-combat inspections. You'll be glad you did. I'll see you on the rooftop.